morning, and thank you all for joining us for this news conference. Water stewardship and security is one of my administration's highest priorities as we seek to ensure the long-term growth and success of our community. And that's why on a sunny morning last June, my administration formally launched our efforts to secure a second source of water to support the growth, health, and vitality of Lincolnites. And this historic effort, which we call Water 2.0, Securing Lincoln's Second Source, will strengthen our community's economic and environmental resilience for decades to come. A project of this magnitude and importance will require many hands to get the job done, and today I want to recognize and thank the 27 community leaders who could be counted on to lend a hand to this effort when they agreed to serve on my Water Source Advisory Council. In the 9 months since we first convened our Advisory Council members, these business and community leaders have selflessly volunteered their time, their talents, and their wisdom to comprehensively analyze and evaluate and recommend the best option for Lincoln's second water source. I thank all of them for their remarkable service and commitment. And joining us today are Susan Seacrest, who is chair of our Water Source Advisory Council, State Senator and Advisory Council Vice Chair Elliott Bostar, our city lead, Liz Elliott, the Director of Lincoln Transportation and Utilities, and as you can see, many of the members of our Advisory Council. I want to recognize partners in local government who are here with us. State Senator Anna Wishart, County Commissioner Sean Flowerday, and Lincoln City Council members Richard McGinnis and Tom Beckius. I want to thank them for all being here and for their service and leadership on the Advisory Council. And I'd also like to honor and recognize that City Council member Sandra Washington is also here with us today in recognition of the incredible importance of this project for the community. I also want to acknowledge the special roles of Senators Wishart and Bostar in helping the City of Lincoln secure $20 million in the last legislative session to put toward the development of our second water source. And today, we are here to discuss the culmination of the Advisory Council's contributions, their final recommendation for Lincoln's second water source. And after thorough review, I am pleased to announce my enthusiastic support of the Council's recommendation to develop a Missouri River wellfield, treatment facility, and underground pipeline direct to Lincoln to provide our community with a second water source. Like the Advisory Council, I believe the Missouri River wellfield alternative is the best option to secure our second water source and the best investment to secure Lincoln's future. I'm confident this route will lead the way to continued water independence and economic prosperity. I'm here to talk more about the benefits of the Missouri River alternative and the robust process that led to its consensus recommendation is Lincoln Transportation and Utilities Director Liz Elliott. Liz?
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor. The process to get to this point has been extensive as professionals from across Lincoln came together to engage in finding a solution that fits Lincoln and our community's needs. The Mayor's Water Source Advisory Council is made up of water experts and community and business leaders who joined together for the greater good of Lincoln. The group spent 9 months and nearly 40 hours of their time dedicated to this process. 7 factors helped guide their analysis of 14 potential alternatives. Those factors included reliability, governance, life cycle costs, operations, implementation, environmental stewardship, and stakeholder impacts. The Advisory Council reviewed data, consulted engineering, water, law, economic, and environmental experts on how each alternative would impact their identified factors. Through a series of votes, the Advisory Council disqualified 7 alternatives due to a lack of feasibility and water quantity factors. Of the remaining 7 alternatives, the group ranked developing a Missouri River wellfield to Lincoln as the best and most reliable solution to secure this water source for our community through 2075 and beyond. The estimated $1.39 billion project will be one of the largest and most complex in Lincoln's history. It's also one of our most important, as we secure the world's most precious resource for our community. As part of this historic effort, the Advisory Council reviewed high levels of technical information as we compared benefits, impacts, and limitations for each alternative. The group focused on the facts and, in the end, recommended an alternative that will protect our future generations for another 100+ years. I'm proud of their work, and I look forward to implementing their recommendation with our city team. Thank you.
Our advisory council was chaired by Susan Seacrest, and as someone who has devoted her career to public health and water stewardship, we were so fortunate to have Susan navigate the vital work of this group. And I'd now like to invite her up to say a few words about the recommendation you were delivering.
Thank you so much, Mayor. What an honor it's been to be part of this group of dedicated community members volunteering their time and expertise in order to ensure Lincoln's long-term economic vitality and high quality of life. The 27 members, who I'm going to miss, of the Water Source Advisory Council did spend, as Liz mentioned, 9 months learning about, understanding, and analyzing various viable options in order to deliver our very best recommendation to you, Mayor. So we worked hard on that. The Council's recommendation for the Missouri River wellfield and underground pipeline to Lincoln is the safest, most reliable solution for the city. The choice ranks highest in reliability, which early on we all said that was one of our #1 priorities. It provides a long-term solution and a long-term life cycle. That has already been said, but it can't be said too often. We'll be able to supply water to Lincoln beyond 2075. Think about that for a minute. Pretty cool. This decision also creates the highest degree of redundancy. It increases Lincoln's ability to manage potential disasters, when we all remember recently in 2019, which actually damaged Lincoln's Platte River wells. With the Missouri River as a second source, we will increase our ability to successfully navigate these kinds of future water issues when they arise. This decision also maintains our autonomy and ability to grow. By expanding our own water production system instead of purchasing water elsewhere, we maintain the local control that is vital to providing for the needs of the Lincoln community. How gratifying to know that Mayor has reviewed our work and supports the Advisory Council recommendation. Our alignment moves Lincoln forward with a historic decision, and it was truly a group effort. I join the Mayor in thanking the Advisory Council members that are here and everyone that was involved for their hard work. I look forward to next steps which will take us towards a thriving future. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Susan. And as the council's vice chair, State Senator Elliott Bostar helped steer the important work of this group. And that's not all he's steering these days. Senator Bostar recently introduced new legislation at the state capitol that proposes to allocate $200 million in federal American Rescue Plan funds to help Lincoln further develop our second water source. And I want to thank Senator Bostar for his leadership on our advisory council and for introducing that bill, LB 506. We look forward to working with him and Senator Wishart and all of our partners in state government to support and pass this legislation that is both critical to our success in implementing the Advisory Council's recommendation and a top priority for the city of Lincoln. I'd now like to invite Senator Bostar up to say a few words. Senator?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm honored and grateful to be a part of this historic effort to increase this community's resiliency. Senator Wishart and I are excited to continue this work in the legislature to help appropriate funds where we can. With the help of other senators and public support, we secured $20 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding in the 2021-2022 legislative session. But we're not done yet. I want to thank Mayor Gaylor Baird for her support as we work to pass our current legislation. Lincoln's second water source is not just about Lincoln. This latest bill will be a big step in recognizing the need and potential impact a second water source will have on Lincoln and other communities, towns, and villages in rural areas of Nebraska. A Missouri River well field and pipeline to Lincoln will help maintain Lincoln's long-standing water independence while also increasing the city's flexibility and autonomy over how it can maintain a strong water supply through floods, drought, and other potential weather challenges. This alternative offers an opportunity for our city to assist other communities along the pipeline that are also in need of additional water for their own growing communities. A single drop of water can make a lasting impression. I believe Lincoln is that drop of water that could create opportunities for cities, towns, and villages across eastern Nebraska while assisting farmers during dry years. The economic opportunities this project will bring Lincoln are limitless. Not only that, but my fellow senators in the legislature are discussing the potential for a large reservoir between Lincoln and Omaha. The Advisory Council has also discussed the state-run project and how it may affect Lincoln. The Advisory Council recommends the city look into the benefits and impacts of such a project for the future. A reservoir could be another source to add to Lincoln's water security now and in the future. I applaud the Advisory Council and the mayor's forward thinking to look into any and all opportunities for additional water security. Thank you, and thank you to all the members of the Advisory Council.
Thank you, Senator Bostar. While current projections and plans indicate that Lincoln does have adequate water supply for the next 26 years, taking these steps now will ensure that the Lincoln water system has the capacity to meet the demand of our growing community. Our work to develop a Missouri River wellfield, treatment facility, and pipeline direct to Lincoln will lead the way to continued water independence and economic prosperity. And this historic effort will strengthen our community's economic and environmental resilience for decades to come. And I just want to say thank you again to the many people who've been involved in helping us get to this historic moment. And with that, we would be happy to take questions from the media who's here in the room or on Zoom.
Can you talk at all about how the projections were made to determine that Lincoln would need another water source?
I will ask our water professionals to come forward, but this is something we've been studying for quite some time. It's a fundamental responsibility of the city to deliver safe, clean, reliable drinking water supply. So it's been something that we've been evaluating in consultation with our private sector consultants. Do you want to start?
As Mayor said, this is something that's been looked at, and I think it dates back to our 2014 master plan, and that was the first real indication where we partnered with consultants, as we do routinely throughout. But that was really when we honed in and looked and saw with modeling and all of the other analysis that our water team and the consultants did clear back in 2014.
And what kind of factors are taken into account? Like, is climate change a big factor in determining whether or not we're going to need another water source?
Climate is definitely a factor that was considered, but I'm going to call up our Assistant Director of Utilities, Donna Garden. She can provide more details on that study and what went into it.
Oh, thank you, Liz. Excuse me. I just wanted to mention that climate change was taken into account in our 2020 update to the master plan, and therefore it was included in this study as well. So this is the first time, 2020 was the first time we actually looked at that and included that in our estimates.
Is this project...
Can I just add one more thing on the issue of climate action? I think we all remember those moments in 2019 when power lines were going down in the Platte River, when we lost our connection to our wells for a few hours. That extreme bomb cyclone event is an example of how the accelerated rate of climate change is having a real impact on the ground here in Nebraska. And so while we know that we need to do this for basic supply needs into the future, we also know that we need to strengthen and harden our infrastructure and make sure that we are resilient in the face of the impacts of climate change. And this is absolutely about that too.
Is this project going to work to conserve water that we already have as well as drawing from another source?
We have some really, great data about our conservation efforts in Lincoln. I'll let Liz share that with you.
The good thing about our community here is they're extremely water conscious and proactive thinking. And we've actually reduced our water usage since the mid-1980s by right around 30%. So we have done a tremendous amount of efforts here with our community. It's something we continue to do. We continue to provide education and resources to our community to continue to do those water conservation efforts.
When it comes to the cost, what kind of factors go into that, and has it been adjusted for inflation?
The cost of the project?
Yeah.
Right. The cost of the project really, it did take into inflation, but the dollar figure we threw out today is in today's dollars. So as we go forward, those those points will continue to be refined and revised as we develop that project. But they went into what is the current market, what are the current supply chain issues, what are current projects similar to this across the nation costing, and so all of that was taken into consideration.
I know you mentioned you have $20 million secured already. Where is the rest of the money going to come from? Are Lincoln citizens going to see any tax increases, that sort of thing?
The good part is we have the opportunity to leverage both state and federal funds, grants, bonds, and we'll continue to look at those options as we move forward. Senator Bostar's bill is another opportunity where we can look and partner with our state and federal delegation to find the funds. The good thing is we do have some time. That's why we're starting now, so we can plan. So we'll also continue to save annually and put aside funds to complete this project.
That's all I got.
Liz, just maybe you could clarify how you're setting aside that money. Is it coming through water rates or?
Yes. You will see in our capital improvement program over the last several years and continuing over the next 6 years and beyond as we plan towards that, we do have an annual amount set aside for our second water source specifically, and that is coming from our rate structure now that's already built into our rates and the rate modeling. We continue to look forward for additional funds such as state and federal appropriations as well, which will be added to that fund.
Any questions on Zoom?
I would just say on that funding source, Margaret, I want to appreciate our city council members who have approved that year after year as we've brought that forward in our budgets. That's been a real acknowledgement of the priority of this infrastructure project, and so we will continue to budget funds as we can from the city level, and we'll of course continue to work with our federal partners, have the opportunity to brief our U.S. senators in the past, and work as well as our new congressperson. So we are working hand in hand to try to make sure everyone understands just how vital this project is, and to help us identify the resources to meet the challenge. Any other questions? Okay, well, thanks once again to our Water Source Advisory Council. We're so fortunate to have so many thoughtful and qualified and committed experts and leaders in our community who've been working on the city's behalf to study future water options. They took on a really difficult assignment and they produced a realistic and feasible solution. And on behalf of everyone in our community and the generations of future residents who will benefit from their work, I thank the Mayor's Water Source Advisory Council for their important contribution today.